Hey boys and girls, in this video today we're going to be looking at fractions, particularly mixed fractions, using them on a number line, ordering them, comparing them for size and equivalence, and we'll be talking about a counting rule with those mixed fractions as well. So I'd like you to first look at this top number line here. You can see that we've got whole numbers from 2 to 6 at the other end. Just having a look at the number line, we also have these little notches, I should say. Can you work out what we're counting in each time here? If you guessed half or said half, you'd be absolutely correct. So each time that we count along, if I can get my drawing tool here, each time we count along, we are counting a half. So there's one half, another half, and another half. To write a half, we always talk about one part out of two parts. That means a half. We'll often see that. So we have here the whole number 2, we have here the whole number 3. So what's this number here going to be? Well, we talk about a mixed fraction. So in a mixed fraction we have the whole number. In this case we have 2 and our fraction. So of course it's 2 and 1/2. So one part out of two parts. So one part here out of a total of two parts. Alright, so I'm going to drag this over here now. So this number would be 2.5. It's a mixed number because it has a whole number and a fraction mixed together. Alright, so to keep this pattern going, of course we have the whole number 3. You guessed it, it would be 3.5. So on and so forth. What would this number here be? Can you guess? Well, not guess, but work it out. I'm sure you can. 4.5. So that's our counting pattern as we go along. 5, and of course 5.5 would be the next thing. The next number along in our number line. So there we are, we've got that going forward. Let's have a look at this next number line now. We're not counting in halves each time. What are we counting in this time? Let's have a little look here. So we've got one part, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. So we're counting in fifths. We're counting in fifths. Are fifths smaller or bigger than halves? Have a look. That's the size of a fifth there, 1/5. Compare it to 1/2, a half is much bigger. Okay, so we're counting each time in fifths. We're adding a fifth each time. So, thinking about what our next number would be, remembering we're counting in fifths this time, so our denominator would be a fifth. We're starting with the whole number 2, so 2 and 1/5 would be the first number in our number line there. Counting along, what would the number right here be? This one right there. Alright, so have a look at, are we at 3 yet? No, we're not. So we've got 2 and 1/5, 2 and 2/5, 2 and 3/5, 2 and 4/5 would be the next number along. 2 and 4/5. Can you work out for me what this number here would be? Thinking music. Alright, well let's have a look. We've got 2 holes, 3 holes, 4 holes, and how many fifths? 4 holes, 4 and 1/5, 4 and 2/5. Let's put it in, here's what it looks like. 4 and 2/5. Are you catching on? Hope you are. And finally, let's have a look at this next number line at the bottom here again. Starting at the same point, 2, 3, counting in holes, 4, 5 and 6. only this time we have a much smaller fraction. So look at the size of this fraction, this part, and then it gets smaller here, and down we go again. What fraction are we counting in this time? We are counting up, so we're increasing, we're adding each time. How many parts do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parts. So we're now talking tenths. Each increment is 1/10. So with that in mind, what would this number here be? So we've got 3 holes, and then we need to count along each tenth. 1, 2, whoops, my bad. Let me get rid of that. Started counting from the wrong point, didn't I? So there we go, 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 parts. Now, what's our denominator again? Tenths, right? So 3 6/10 is what we call this number here. Okay, so we've talked about the rule each time. In the first one, we're adding halves. That's our rule. We're adding halves. In the second number line, we are adding fifths. In the third number line, we are adding tenths. Which is the biggest fraction? Of course, it's halves, isn't it? Fifths, tenths. So as you notice, as the denominator, the number on the bottom, gets larger, the fraction actually gets smaller. Okay? And we've talked about a mixed number. Let's talk about some comparing of numbers, of mixed fractions. So I'm running out of a little bit of space on my page here, but if I had the number, say, 3 1/10, I'm just going to put it here in the middle here, and I compared it to, I don't know, the number 3 1/2, which number would be greater? Well, let's have a look here. So 3 1/10, if I was to mark that on here, it would be 1 whole, and there's 1/10 there. Okay, that's where it is. So I'll move that over. That's 3 1/10. And 3 1/2, of course, is right there. We've already got it in, so I'll just put it on top there. So you can see here very clearly, all the way to there, there's 3 1/2 compared to 3 1/10. 3 1/10 is smaller than 3 1/2. So what have we done? We've done some ordering of fractions. On a number line, we've compared them with size. We haven't talked about equivalence. Let's quickly talk about equivalence here. Let's talk about, well, we've got 4 1/2. There's 4 1/2. Okay, and let's talk about the equivalent. So if I look straight down here, equivalent distance, what would this mixed fraction be? Well, we've got 4 holes. And how many tenths? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is half of 10. Therefore, 4 1/2 is the same as, or is equivalent to, 4 5/10. They mean the same thing. They have the same value. Equivalence, we've talked about the rule. So adding each time, in this particular case, that's our rule. Alright, so I hope you got something out of that video. Looks a bit confusing on the page there now. yeah, come and see me if you have any difficulties with mixed fractions. Have a go at the activities I've got for you now. Good luck. Rewatch this video if it helps you to, and have a nice day.